Hello and welcome to this video where I'm going to be talking about the Aria series. Now this isn't going to be any kind of formal review or anything like that. I just wanted to take some time to look back on this series and talk about why I loved it so much. I first remember seeing Aria back in 2008 on this website called Veo, which is a video sharing site similar to YouTube. However, there was one massive difference, and that was that Veo was a lot more lax when it came to taking down copyrighted material that was uploaded to their site. So a lot of fan-subbed anime was being uploaded there back in the day. I remember watching True Tears there, I watched Kiss there, I think I also watched the first season of White Album there as well. And when I was searching through the internet looking for what to watch next, going through forums and websites, Aria kept coming up. It was really highly praised back then. It even made many people's top 10 lists. However, I wasn't a big fan of Slice of Life back then, so I wasn't quite sure if I was going to like it. However, I decided to give it a watch anyway because honestly I didn't really have that many options back then, and after watching the first season, I decided to stop there and wait until I bought the DVDs in order to keep watching the show. I felt that I really needed to support it. I loved it that much. Aria is set in the city of Neo-Venezia, which is a replica of Venice that was remade on this water planet called Aqua. The story follows three young gondola apprentices on their quest to become fully fledged gondoliers. And the story doesn't really get much more complex than that. It starts simple and it ends simple. There's no massive plot twist, there's no villainous character that comes in and completely shakes up everything, no. Aria always remains about these three girls going around on their gondolas, discovering new places about Neo-Venezia and growing as friends. In terms of actual plot progression, it does happen, however it's really slow. In fact, overall this show is actually pretty slow. It moves at a snail's pace, which is pretty common for Slice of Life series. And while this is probably going to put a lot of people off the show, I actually really like the slow pace that it has. I found it to be very relaxing. Another thing I love about this show is how beautiful everything looks, especially in Neo-Venezia. It looks like such a great place to live. And this is due to the fantastic art style that this show has. Even 10 years after it was made, it still looks very vibrant and colourful. I feel that the visuals in this show are timeless and they're going to look good even 10, 20, maybe even 30 years down the track. I also loved how there's not really any horrible people in this show. There's no one who's villainous or evil, and while sometimes a character might act a bit dickish, overall everybody's extremely nice. And this further added to the appeal of Neo-Venezia for me. It made me really wish that it was an actual place so that I could go there and meet some of these wonderful people. On top of being nice, I also found many of the characters to be very funny. I found myself laughing fairly consistently throughout this show, especially at the cats. The cats are absolutely hilarious. With all this gushing that I've done, I might have made out that Aria is all sunshine and rainbows, but it really isn't. Even though the show remains fairly lighthearted throughout, there's still a lot of drama here. There's a lot of conflict, characters get discouraged, a lot of things go wrong, and these moments really kept the show from being boring. One example of this I found when rewatching this show was episode 4. In this episode, Akari, who's one of the gondola apprentices, is tasked to deliver this letter from this strange girl. What makes it even weirder is that this letter is addressed to this facility that's been abandoned for years. Now I can't really go much further into the plot of this episode due to spoilers, however I will say that it's really emotional, and it's the first time I remember saying, okay, there's something more here, there's something more special about this show than I originally gave it credit for. Another episode that really stood out to me back in the day was episode 8, which focuses on President Aria and his feelings of not being needed. We've all had those times where we felt worthless, and we've all had those moments where we tried really hard to help but we just kept screwing things up. This episode captures those feelings perfectly with minimal dialogue. I actually found myself getting quite choked up during this episode. It really touched me. It was very surprising that they used President Aria in this way, as he's usually just a comedy relief character. I feel that I also need to mention how good this show's soundtrack is. It's very relaxing and it fits perfectly with the slow and upbeat nature of this show. One song that I love especially is the first ending theme. I had this on my MP3 player at university, and whenever I was feeling stressed or depressed, I would put this song on and it would automatically make me feel much happier and more relaxed. One final thing I should say before I end this video is that there's no dub for this show, there's only a subtitled version. And this sucks, it really sucks, because I feel that this show would have been perfect for young children. If you wanted to get your 4, 5, 6-year-old into anime, this would be a fantastic place to start. However, considering children that young are only just starting to learn how to read, they're not going to be able to keep up with the subtitles, and by the time they are old enough to keep up, they're probably going to be in middle school, and this kind of show probably wouldn't interest them that much. However, I will say that if you don't mind reading subtitles, and you don't mind shows that are very slow paced, I recommend this show highly, especially if you're a fan of Slice of Life series. I recommend that you go out and watch this show as soon as you can. So anyway, thank you very much to everybody who watched this video. If you have any feedback, feel free to leave a comment, and if you like this video and want to see more, feel free to subscribe as well. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.